Yo, what's up? Thanks so much for joining us again for this live podcast from Broke to Millions, where we share the secrets for life, money, and real estate. This podcast is for the person who wants to elevate their life, money, and real estate game. Whether you're a sophisticated investor or a beginner, whether you're active or passive, whether you want to be accredited or non-accredited, I will share all my real estate experience. So you can share, I will share my ups and my downs. So whatever you need assistance, you can leverage it to turn it all the way around. Because see, here at Nassau, we're the #1 real estate experts with real solutions. But before we get started, I have to share with you about our sponsor. This sponsor is podcast. It's sponsored by, who's it brought to you by?
Bird 360.
Oh, it's Bird 360, the Bird 360 coming. Matter of fact, get your tickets, man. It's coming September 13th through the 15th. Prices will increase August 1st, so get your early bird special. Go to bird360.com. Bird360.com, get your ticket, learn all about real estate, the Bird, Airbnb, learn how to do hotels, all the way from wholesaling to hotels, man. You can get it at Bird 360 Conference, September 13th, 15th. As again, bird360.com.
And price will increase it by August 1st.
That's right.
So get it now.
And so let me introduce my money crew. Where the air horns at, baby? My man on the audio visual, Walt Potty the Pipe Piper. What's up, baby?
Blessings.
Blessings. Well, God bless you. Jesus healed you and Jesus wept, okay?
Yes, he did.
All right. Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
And all the way from the Philippines, by the way of Avondale, my man, Wendell Guzman. What's up, brother?
All right, guys. How are you? How are you, Mike?
It's all good.
All right. So today, Mike, we will talk about the economy, the Feds, right?
Really?
The Federal Reserve, and what's the impact on real estate investing and how you guys can thrive in any real estate market. All right?
Absolutely, man.
So it's very important that you guys know how to do that.
You got them turned up on the iPhone? No, you got to turn the iPhone on. There you go. All right, man.
And then after that, we have two brothers.
Oh, we got the brothers in the
Yeah,
building?
who went from Burr to financial freedom, and then now they're doing big deals.
Oh,
which is
awesome, man. That's
So,
big, man.
Ask any questions that you guys have. That's a third point. And then lastly, at the end of the show, for me, at least, it's the most important part of the show, and that's the Mike's Millionaire Mindset Monologue, because you can learn all these techniques, right? About real estate investing, how to survive it in any economy. But if your mindset is not right, nothing will happen, right?
That mine ain't right, man. Ain't nothing gonna happen, bro.
Yep, exactly. So without further ado, let's jump right in.
All right, everybody. If you're on Facebook, tell us where you're from. Apartment Investing Secrets. Instagram, if you're on there, man, tell us where you're from, where you're checking in at. And I love when y'all shoot me my hearts and my thumbs up. But let's dive in here today, man. Walt, will you get that going for us, brother? How to thrive in any real estate market? What you gonna tell us?
And I will type the meeting Zoom ID for those of you on Instagram.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you want to see the PowerPoint slides, we are sharing like so many charts and graphs right now. So you guys should.
You really should join in Zoom today. This is an essential part of how you set up your strategy. So many people always ask me, Mike, how's it? I can't find any deals, because you got to change your strategy based on the market. And so why we're talking about the market, because that's going to create your strategy. Some of you like, I'm waiting for the market to crash. Well, technically the market is declining. I don't know if I'll say crashing, but it is declining, and you have an opportunity to acquire. But also you need to understand the market, because you're going to need to adjust. You'll see with this inflation, you'll see with this potential recession, chat is disabled. You'll see that you're going to have to, something simple. Your cap rate is going to adjust. All right. So we'll get into detail about all of that. Let's go ahead. Well, let's get these slides showing them and show them what the game's all about. All right. So in case you didn't know me, I've been investing since 1999. You know, this is like the third time somebody asked me about that.
When did you do your first deal?
Yeah. Lost it all in 2002, 2003. And then I started balling out. I got 1,500 units, 40 houses, industrial warehouse, and working on 2 developments now. One in Port Charlotte, another one in Sarasota. And what happens once you do a couple of developments, you get a flashy shirt and a necklace like that. Okay.
And the nice thing is you survive and thrive in any market.
Every
Like,
market,
in every market you did it. So
now I will say I wish it's because I was studying the market and how the market was, but quite frankly, I lived my whole life was a recession. So you know,
or a depression.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I was just never depressed, but yeah. Okay, so we got Facebook going. We got Northern Virginia. Everybody else, check in where you're from.
Oh, and I forgot, guys. If you put where you're from, right? I will choose one lucky winner. At the end of the show, we will announce who will win Mike's book, From Broke to Millions.
Okay. All right. You get the Broke to Millions here.
So put your name and email address, and of course my laptop died. But anyway.
Oh, okay. You living the dream, bro. All right, we got Northern Virginia, Lexington, Fort Wayne, Indiana checking in here. We got North Dakota. We got Salt Lake, Warner, Robins, Georgia. Where is that? Cincinnati. I guess you by the lake. Warner Robins sounds by the lake. Is that accurate, Leah? Leah's Warner by the lake. California, Indiana, Salt Lake. Okay, yes. And so now let's go to the next slide here. Inflation. What is inflation? Everybody just like, man, they keep talking about this inflation. And everybody's like, look, all I know is my rent is high, my gas is high, and everything is high. I used to be able to get a quarter pounder for 70 cents. Now a quarter pound.
1973, when you were just 2 years old, Mike.
Hey, now if you would have used White Castles on here, I really could relate.
But not
I was getting White Castles for a nickel to 25 cents.
What you talking about? Yeah, my son loves, cheeseburgers, and like now the cheeseburger is like $2.
Yeah, no, man.
Back in the day, it's like 33 cents. So basically, inflation is just the debasement of our currency, the debasement of cash.
Yeah. So what happens with inflation is, things increase, but what's happening is you got too much money in the economy and not enough goods. So there's your supply and demand. You got a supply of money, and so there's a demand of product, but not enough of it. And so not only that, so the value of products increase, so your dollar buys less. Before, for $1, you can go to McDonald's and ball out.
Yeah, you can have a cheeseburger with French fries, with hot apple pie and coffee, all for $1.
I think now you can just get a fry. I think they got $1 menu.
I am totally interested by that triple ripple ice cream cone.
All right, let's go on to the next one. So now I guess you guys got another idea. So, but now the recession, these are one of the things that you got to understand. The recession is when you have a steady negative growth for over 6 months or 2 quarters, versus a depression. A depression is something that lasts over 3 years, and you don't have any growth in the GDP. So it's not that the GDP was negative. It's just saying that it declined 6 months in a row. So even though it only declined 0.4%, and let's say over a 6-month period only declined 2%, and it's still in the positive, but although it declined negative, they consider that a recession. All right. And so if you look at this chart, we haven't really had a recession since 2008, 2009. And after that, I guess what we had, 12
COVID,
years.
Yeah, COVID's like the shortest recession on record. Yeah.
12 years we were going strong. And the last kind of correction was in the 60s. All right. Well, I can't say that. You always, again, I'm looking at this chart. Again, it's just when you have negative growth. So in 1980, 1970, yeah, because I was like, what happened about the savings alone? Here it is right there. You can see how it grew negative for a while. So what recession is not the end of the world. It's just saying, hey, a lot of people ain't spending money. A lot of people ain't spending money on certain products.
Right. The economy is contracting.
Yes.
There is more unemployment, but not as bad as a depression.
Now, here, one of the things I like to share, like one of the people was talking about earlier, I was listening on a podcast. It was like history repeats itself. Oh, no. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Okay. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So it's something similar. It'll something be different, something you'll learn from, but it'll change somewhat. All right, let's go to the next one. So the effect of the mortgage interest rates on real estate affordability. Look, man, the bottom line is with interest rates going up, that means property values come down. In addition, because the interest rates go up, that means you get less for your money. All right. So here's a kind of example. For let's say $100,000. Okay. When you were at 4% interest rate, basically you paid $44,000 in interest for the year. Okay. Versus now rates hitting 6 and 7%, you're going to pay 7,000 more, or 7,000, 3,000 more than what you have done in 4%. Right. So that's $200, $300, $400 more a month that you're paying. That's a big difference for a lot of people. I mean, some of you are in great position. Yeah, you can pay extra $500 a month. You balling out of control. But you got people that rents jumped up $500 a month. You got gas prices that went up. That's, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting robbed. I share that every week. Like they putting that gasoline stick at my head every week. And then on top of that, your groceries went up. So you got three main factors of what people need to live off of that increase significantly. Now, as a hotel owner, as a rental property owner, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
All right. But if I'm complaining about gas and that I can afford it, I know it's a challenge for others. So something has to give. And we'll figure out how that is. But that's what our government is working on. All right, let's go on to the next one. Wynn, why don't you take this slide, man? This is talking about the different market phases.
Yeah. So SM stands for seller's market, right? In a normal market, home prices actually increase proportional to inflation. So if inflation is 3%, 4%, home prices will increase proportional to inflation. So that's kind of like what we call a normal market, right? And then something happens to the economy. Maybe they relax the mortgage, like qualifications, like back in 2005. If you can fog a mirror, you can get a house. You can get a loan, you can get a mortgage, right? Or back in 2020, right? We have COVID, and the Fed, did quantitative easing. They, plowed so much money in the economy that all asset prices increased, right? So including houses, right? So that's SM2, wherein, and that happened back in 2005. It's called seller's market phase 2, and that's a hot market. So one of the signals in a hot market is if your barber tells you to invest in real estate, you're at the top. Okay. That's a dangerous time to actually be buying. You should be selling at that point. And then when 2008 happened, right? You have this wave of foreclosures, you have big unemployment, and you get home prices dropping like a rock, that you throw in the middle of a pond, right? And we have, like certain markets, like, some parts of Chicago wherein home prices drop by 50%. You're in a buyer's market phase 1. That's actually when, when people say that there is blood on the streets, that's your buyer's market phase 1. And then But actually, in the buyer's market phase one, that's when the smart institutional investors are actually buying. When everyone's afraid and panicking, that's when the big investors are buying. That's how BlackRock Capital became BlackRock Capital, is because they bought so many houses during 2008, 2009, 2010, up to 2011. And then when you have enough investors buying enough the inventory, then home prices will start to stabilize. That is, it will stop dropping. And then now you're in a buyer's market phase two. And buyer's market phase two is actually the best time to be buying rental properties,
Absolutely.
right? Because you're at the bottom of the market. Although it's kind of hard to time the bottom of the market, right? So back in 2008 to 2011, I know, Mike, you've done a lot of short sales. I've done a lot of short sales during that time. REOs, buying and selling notes, especially non-performing notes, but I mean, buying rentals is good in any market, but I mean, right now, the risk is we are in a seller's market phase two, but as to how long it will last, no one knows. Like back in 2005, Robert Kiyosaki at that time said that, the market is too hot. He sold all his real estate during 2005. So he was like 3 years early.
Yeah.
So now I know we are in a seller's market phase two, but I don't know as to how long it will go up until we go back to buyer's market phase one. So
that was good, man.
Next slide.
Guys, like I said, man, real estate, this is all about the real estate, and we want to educate you on all parts of it. But this understanding the market and how it's moving is very essential on how you guys will make your next move. Look, housing sales have already begun to decline. And these are about, new construction. Already, we were reading this chart here that 23% sales dropped. 17, and in 2022, over 17%. Like, people canceled their deals. And literally, they just upped it, I guess, yesterday. Did we just go up 0.75?
The Fed funds rate, increased by 75 basis points.
Right? Yeah, so I mean, money is not as attractive, but again, it's somewhat psychology, right? You're just going to have to adjust what you do and understand that for some it's psychology, some it's actually a budget. Because the bottom line, it depends on what your goal is. Do you want to pay cash for it, or do you need to get debt for it to offset it so you can have cash in hand? Or some may not have it at all right? But listen, these interest rates are already taking effect. But the crazy thing about it, as you see, people are canceling out. We'll go on the next slide. We'll show that there's a demand for housing still.
Yeah, there's a demand problem. Yeah.
Like, people are canceling, but people still need houses. Let's go, Walt.
Yeah, there's a supply problem rather than a demand problem.
Yeah, so look at this right here. In 2021, we are short 5 million homes.
That's crazy.
5 million homes. So what that does is like, well, we short $5 million homes. If they don't build, guess what? Rents are going to keep steady increasing. And it looks like they're going to keep increasing because they can't catch up.
Yeah, which is in the next slide.
Yep, let's go on to the next one. You go ahead and talk about this one, Win.
Yeah, so so people were saying, oh, because of the higher interest rates, you will have a 2008 market crash. Well, hold on, not too fast, right? Because price is determined by supply and demand. Now, what the Fed is trying to do is they want to kill demand, right?
Yes.
That's why they increase interest, the Fed's funds rate, in order to control inflation. So the way they do it is they want to kill demand. However, with housing, there is, as Mike said, 5 million of unmet demand. Maybe it will go down to 4 million because of the higher interest rate. But the builders are only building, they built around 1.4 million that are already completed, right? So that will ease up the supply problem a little bit, right? But if your unmet demand, best case, is 4 million and you're only producing like less than 2 million, you're still behind. So that's why the builders can't catch up. So
and then they can't catch up, and then the cost of building is increasing
as well.
So they're like, well, man, I know there's a demand, but I can't build because
right.
even if I build, I got to charge more.
Especially low income housing. That's why we have a big problem with low income housing.
Oh, low income houses, they getting
yeah,
killed.
yeah.
They getting
Because
killed.
There's no
Like they're
builders can
moving.
build
We're
profitably.
moving into that LA, New York roommate situation.
Yeah. I mean,
The Midwest is finally getting hit with that.
Right. One of our mastermind members, Tonya
Yeah.
Burke, is very much into government housing. So she's aware that even some nurses in LA are actually homeless, sleeping in their cars. Can you believe it? Because they cannot afford to pay like 5,000 a month in rent. Nurses. Think about that one.
Hey man,
Homeless nurses.
5,000 a month. That's off the chain.
Yeah. Crazy.
A nurse paying $5,000, man, how are they gonna do that?
I know, that's why they live in their car. they cannot afford the rent, man. That's crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna convert my Sprinter van to my house. I'll put a bathroom in there. I'll put a bathroom in back of the Sprinter van. I'm cool after that. Yeah, that's all you need is a camper, man. Forget all this. What's that kind of living? We live off the grid, but that moderate, what is it?
Tiny houses, what?
Not tiny house. I don't know that little minimalist. I'm gonna be a minimalist.
Minimalist.
Minimalist. All right, a millennial. I'll be a millennial.
That talks about our guest today, but not the minimalist.
Okay, let's go on to the next
different one. Okay, go ahead.
So not enough homes satisfied. We talked about that. Let's go on to the next one. So short term, in summary, housing prices can continue to decline in some markets, but not comparable to 2008, 2009.
Right.
Now, the reason why we feel like it won't go to that is because those notes that were written was just shit. The paper was written on back these were no doc loans.
Yep.
I'm sorry, and strippers are people too, but what my point is, these were people just
that makes $10 an hour, but get a
$1 million house, right? Like,
yep.
But I know some strippers that make money. I don't know about this.
Okay, well.
Anyway, no, but
I think your wife is listening.
Oh, I'm not. I ain't going to no strip club, baby. I ain't going to no strip. But anyway, no. So, and back then they were doing 100% financing.
Oh yeah. In fact, they were like 125% financing,
right,
which is like nuts, right?
So, and they were doing construction loans where they were funding the construction part in advance.
That's crazy.
So the reason why we don't think it's going to be like 2008, because first of all, there's plenty of value in these people's homes. So people, if the rates do adjust and it goes higher, well, yeah, they may not be able to afford it, but they'll be able to sell it and sell it with some value because they had equity. Right. They put money down on some of these homes. So, that's why, but it will be a decline in pricing. But not
a crash.
Yeah, that's because a lot of the rental were for the rates, and then on top of it, people that wanted to sell before are not going to sell. Why would they sell? You mean to tell me they're going to sell their house, make this money, leave that house that they only had a 3.5 interest rate, for some a 2.75. You're going to leave that house, sell that house so you can get an interest rate of 7%?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No, you're not going to. And you barely found a house.
Yep.
All right. And then rents may stop increasing, but due to the limited supply, they may not decline either. They may stable, but I don't see rents really taking a dive here soon. Unless we get a big supply of housing, and I just don't see that happening. It costs too much. So when this happens, now you start looking for subsidies from the government. Low income tax credit, new market tax credits, affordable housing projects. Yeah. So let's go to the next one. So cascading effect of higher inflation, here's the hustle. The Federal Reserve increases the Fed's funds rate to control inflation, right? So they're increasing that. Mortgage interest rate increases when the Fed funds rates increases. Then when that happens, the cap rates begin to increase as well. So if the cap rate was at 4 or 5% and interest rates increase, guess what? That 4 or 5% now is at 6 to 7%.
Right. And the proof is in the next slide.
Yeah. Let's look at this next one. Go ahead, Wynn. Break this down, tell me before.
Yeah. So that's so This is the relationship between the 10-year treasury rate, which is that red or orange? Yeah, or pink, whatever the color is. I'm colorblind. And then the apartment cap rate across the country. So at the end of 2021, the 10-year treasury rate is at 1.512%. And the cap rate on average across different multifamily markets across the US is 4.9%. Now, because of Jerome Powell's Fed funds rate increase recently, the 10-year treasury rate as of like 9 a.m. today is at 2.78%. So if the cap rate increases proportionately, right? We expect the cap rate across, again, average cap rate, multifamily to be around 6.17%. So what that means is, that's a 120 basis point increase in cap rate, which substantially decreases the price of apartment buildings. So that's it, Mike.
All right, man. Glad you explained that.
Okay.
No, so the problem is the Fed is boxed in. Look, they need to increase the Fed funds rates to control inflation. Example, Paul over here, he increased the funds rates to 20% to lower the 15% inflation.
Yeah,
rate.
back in the 1970s.
Right,
yep.
We did that back then. But with 30.6 trillion in debt, which is higher than the US GDP of 23 trillion, Jesus. The Feds can increase the funds rate to a level higher than inflation,
which is currently at 9.1%. So what Mike was basically saying was, if the Fed really wants to control inflation, the Fed has to increase the Fed's fund rate to maybe 11 or 12%. But if they do that, they will have a depression. That's the problem.
They'll shut everything down.
Yeah. Because 12%, the debt service on that one is basically larger than what? 12% times 30 trillion. How much is that? Like
Too much.
3.6 trillion, around 4 trillion.
I don't even know. I can't do the math on that.
And the US government budget is around what, like 3 trillion? It's bigger than the actual budget of the entire US government. So
who does the accounting on that?
That's crazy. So yeah.
So high inflation is here to stay.
Yep, that's the conclusion.
I don't think we're getting out of here no time soon, which is why you need to own some real estate. Yeah. It's why you need to go buy some businesses now. This is the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go to the next one, Walt. So long term, due to likely permeance of high inflation due to increase in government debt, real estate prices will continue to go up. And look, don't wait to buy. Like I said, buy real estate and wait. That's why I like Raleigh, North Carolina is one of the places I really like, man. The Carolinas, period, Florida, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Not only will they get hit with inflation, they then also have population growth
and job
growth, like Google, Apple, Facebook. All these major, and then only that, forget about them, multiple tech companies, biotech companies startups that go from, 50 million to $1 billion, all in Raleigh.
Nice.
You can't help but win. So you got a combination of inflation, all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these are really great things.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. So how do you thrive in the real estate market? Always buy below market value. I don't care what you're doing. Anything that you want to do, if you want a deal, you want to buy below the market. And look, I even did it for my own house. Now that was just one of my personal things. Like when I lost my house, when I went in foreclosure back in, what was that? I don't know,
2002.
2002. Yeah, when I lost everything, almost went bankrupt. I refuse to be over leveraged in anything that I did ever again. And so even my personal home, what took me so long to get it, I wasn't even really looking, but when I found it, I knew it was a deal. I knew this house, it was sitting on 2 acres. It was like 7,000 square feet. And it was like Columbia, Tusculum, Hyde Park. All right. First of all, 1/4 acre lots, and they only 3,000 were selling for $1 million. I was like, give me that. I can actually build another house and sell that lot off. So my point is, take every deal, apartments, hotels, businesses, buy below market. and then add value, or what we call forced depreciation, by increasing value. And you can do it just as simply as increasing the rent.
Right. Sometimes you don't even have to rehab the property.
Yeah.
Just increase the rent by $50, $100. Although, of course, it has to be justified somewhat, right? Like,
Yeah. Sure.
with higher inflation, then therefore you can increase the rent, So.
All right, next one. So how do you thrive in any real estate market? Adjust based on the market. Be more conservative in your underwriting. Look, one of the things is you got to adjust your cap rate. And when you bid, I would adjust for the interest rate as well. Because even though you found the deal today, by the time you confirm your loan and close, that rate could have went up by 0.75 basis point or a whole basis.
Especially with, what happened yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we already seen it. So, even before I'm talking about this, I think earlier last month, people were doing deals, and when the rate started to increase, they started retrading. When we say retrading, they mean they had a deal of 20 million, 50 million, whatever. They was like, look, it's not worth that because I can't cash flow it anymore because my rate went up. So now my returns are, I was looking for that marginal 6 to 8% return. I can't even get that now. I can't get that with this type of debt.
Right.
So I'm gonna need you to take a nosedive, right? I'm gonna need you to reduce that price, which then increases, by reducing the price, it increases the cap rate, which doesn't give a better return.
Right.
So look, change your acquisition and exit strategies.
Yeah.
Look, we don't know when the rates will go back down again.
You might need to use owner financing, or some parts of your deal could be owner financing.
Matter of fact, there was a deal, that deal we were working on. I didn't really like it, but it was a tight deal, but it worked. At the time, we could have probably got 4.5%, 5% interest rate. It was a 15 unit. They wanted like $1 million for it. Based on the cash flow, because it had ones, a couple of twos, but based on the cash flow, that deal would have worked because it could have been worth 1.6 to 2 million. Now the rates went up, the cash flow sucks, it's already tight, and I don't think you can push the rents up anymore because so much inflation and everything.
Right.
And
this is why, like, you've succeeded, Mike, despite the great financial recession in 2008, 2009, because you are very conservative. You're buying things well below market value. So even if things change in the economy or the interest rate, since you bought it so low, it's okay. Right? You can still cash flow,
That, I mean, that was just my strategy. I like to be way below market value, because when there's always going to be a market correction. There's always going to be a correction because real estate goes in cycles. Right. You showed the brief cycle earlier, but there's also a more detailed chart which talks about hyperinflation, lower inflation, growth, construction, saturated market, below market, hyper supply, lower supply. And so the bottom line is you just gotta buy below market value. Give yourself room for error. That's it.
Yep.
Look, you're going to make a mistake. I still make tons of mistakes. The thing about us, when I make a mistake, I still got plenty of room.
Yeah.
How did I know this? Why is that so important? Because when I first started my real estate career and I was making so many mistakes, I didn't have room for error.
Yeah.
If I messed up, man, I was over with.
Yeah.
And I was over with. I was back home living on that couch in my mama's and daddy's house in that pink and lavender room. Do you want to be in the pink and lavender room? Do you want to be in the pink and lavender room? I don't. It was, I don't regret it though. I don't regret it. It was a great learning lesson. But I don't want any of y'all to go back in your mama and daddy room. And some of y'all 40. That ain't gonna look good.
Yeah. That will not work. Next slide.
Hey, so how do you thrive in real estate market? Look, you got to have access to private capital. So you're not totally dependent on banks. Man, right now, this is going to be a great time to work with investors or to do private capital because they're not going to be able to find the deals. Interest rates are too high. You got to remember, we were just at 6-7% a couple of years ago. And everything was great.
2018.
All right. It's just, you got to wait for the area to catch up. Right. It's probably going to take about a year or two for houses to kind of decline to match up, or everybody, not so much, but everybody to mentally understand, like, your property is not worth that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because people are like, my house worth 200 or 500,000. I was like, yeah, that's when interest rates were low.
Yep. But
Not
now it's
anymore.
not. Yep, exactly.
That was when gas was below $3. Right.
Okay.
So let's go on to the next one. So, man, here with our mastermind members, two things. We teach them how to find and analyze and acquire apartments and hotels. All right. And we teach them how to raise private capital. These are things that are essential for you in order to advance and increase your career and be successful in doing deals.
Yeah.
You have to have kind of these two things.
Yep.
Because if you can't analyze the deal, well, there's a hotel apartment, you'll never know if you got a deal or not.
Yep. If you can raise private capital, even if it's the best deal in the world, then you can buy it.
Yeah, there you go. So you're stuck. So you got to learn. These are essential in order to do these things. And if not, you got to learn to be what we call the big deal maker. You just got to put your team together and make it happen.
Which is what we teach in the mastermind. So next slide. I want to talk about the next slide, Mike.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So it's like our mastermind members, you know, their success over the past 2 years. It's a 1-year program, but, you know, cumulatively, Mike, I did the numbers again. I updated this. We are at 2,387 units acquired or invested in. And this obviously does not include your deals, right? So if you think about it, Mike, you know, like our mastermind members are acquiring 99 units per month, just shy of 100 units. Think about that one. That is so mind blowing. I couldn't have, you know, envisioned this when we started our mastermind. And the capital raised so far is at $7.76 million. So every month, our mastermind members are raising over $300,000 per month. Again, like, you know, like I know, like for me at least, it took me a while to raise 300,000 for a deal, you know, but for our mastermind members to be doing that every month on average now, I mean, that is just mind blowing. So guys, if you want to become part of the mastermind, next slide, Walt, just go to, you want to be a lion, right? Go to nasainvest.com/waitlist. We don't accept everybody, you know, so go to nasainvest.com/waitlist. All right. Next slide. And next week, we will talk about how to raise private capital using social media, even if we have less than 100 followers. All right. So definitely watch our episode next week. So with that, I think that's the last part, right?
Yep, that's it, man. We're gonna take questions now. We're gonna bring the brothers on. What we're gonna do here?
Bring the brothers, and then, you know, you can interview them, and then after that, we will take questions.
All right, man.
Next slide, Walt.
Walt, get that set up, and as we bring them in, send me the questions. All right, we'll bring them over here. Get them set up here. So guys, hey, if that was helpful, was that information helpful for you guys? Did you learn something there? What? And send your questions in. We'll start answering a couple of questions that we bring them in. But it's essential that you know these things about how the market changed in order to be successful in this deal. But as we get situated here, we got the brothers Kevin and Mitch from Bird of Freedom to Big Deals. These guys are doing it. They're also a part of our mastermind group as well. I mean, they've already started raising big money already and moving on to developments. I mean, these guys are fearless and bold. But guys, I'd love to hear from you in the chat or Facebook. Tell me, what do you think about this inflation? How is this affecting you? Will you still be able to do deals? Do you think you can adjust through the cycle? I don't know. All right, here we go. Here, one, we got him. Yeah. Okay. Hold on here. We're just switching up here, guys. All righty, here we go. You just texted? Okay. All right. All right, now we got it, man. Look, everybody give a round of applause for Kevin and Mitch. Yep. Jesus Christ. You see what I got? All right, man. Can you guys hear in the headphones? Can you hear?
Not this one.
No. You turn them up in the headphones? All right, man. So, yeah, you turned up my mic, man. Maybe that was my headphones. I don't know. You turn up my headphones. Yeah, those are my headphones. All right. That doesn't matter, man. So look, man, how did y'all both get started in real estate? Like, what made you guys want to jump into this real estate?
Yeah, so I guess a while ago, kind of our mindset for wanting to work for ourselves kind of sparked up with our brother who, since he was 16, has kind of owned and grew and sold off his companies that, started behind house and went to escape rooms, and now he's doing something in Columbus called Otherworld. But we got to kind of firsthand experience what he's been doing. And we knew one day we wanted to work for ourselves and potentially work together. And we both love real estate. We always have since we were kids. So that's kind of how we landed on the idea. But after that, we kind of had full-time jobs and we started studying investment strategies. And we kind of started with the BRRRR strategy, which everyone's familiar with in bigger pockets: buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. So we started with a duplex, went to a quad, and then a sixplex. During that process, we had different family and friends kind of come up and approach us about potentially becoming investors. And at the time, we had never really considered it, but we started doing some more studying, found syndication. And then, yeah, kind of late 2021, we kind of made the decision that we wanted to do it full time. So early 2022, we took the jump and sink or swim approach. So here we are.
Man, how old are you guys?
I'm 25. So
I am 27.
yeah,
How long did you work?
I went to Chicago. I was a CPA at Ernst & Young. I did 2 years there, ended up moving back to Cincinnati with Mitch actually after we had bought a couple properties to kind of, with the idea that we were going to eventually go full time and just jump into the real estate game. So proximity obviously was key there, but let Mitch go a little bit about himself.
Yeah, I worked for 3 to 4 years, 3.5 years in corporate finance for big companies like GE and Honeywell. But it didn't take long for me to realize that wasn't the path that I wanted to go on for the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
I remember for me, it happened when I was an intern. It happened. I was 17, 18 years old. And I was like, this corporate thing is not for me.
yeah, I mean, there was a while there. I mean, I don't know about him, but I worked in corporate finance. So I thought like CFO, I was going to become a CFO one
There
day.
you go.
I was on the track to become a CFO, but I mean, 2 years later,
No, I was talking about that the other day. Like corporate, I didn't understand. I remember as an intern, I was gun ho. They would give me an assignment. I would take it home and I would work on it all night. And I come back and it was done. And it was like, all right, give me something else. And they was like, dude, slow down. I was like, what are you talking about? This is nothing. And they did it one more time. And after that, they wouldn't give me no more work. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And literally, I would sit in my office and talk on the phone and crack jokes all day with my buddies. And then they would come over like, Mike, you're too loud. I was like, what the fuck, man? You want me to work or have fun? I don't know. I guess I'm on the job site. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what led you to quit your jobs and start a real estate investment firm? Like, I know you said you've been talking and thinking about it, but what was it like, man, forget this. I'm going all in.
yeah, I mean, it really was. We did a few BRRRRs, and over that time, we never really considered leaving our jobs as early as we did, but they were successful. I mean, we made really solid returns on those BRRRRs, but the kicker was when we had family friends, colleagues asking us, you guys taking any outside investment? Because we were like putting some of these deals on LinkedIn just to show people what we were doing.
I wish I had some family and friends that have money. All my friends were broke as hell, man.
Hey, well, when people say they want to invest, they could mean 50,000. They could also mean, 50, just 50. So
It's kind of yeah, we didn't have a minimum set up back then. So
yeah, but people were asking us, and it got us thinking, like, well, maybe we should consider that. And so that's when syndications, we discovered what a syndication really was. This was like not that long ago. I mean, mid to late last year, like late summer last year. So we studied up on that, and we felt like we got to a point where we were honed in on Cincinnati. We knew the market enough, and we felt comfortable with like our underwriting and understanding what a good deal is. as well as our network of potential investors. Totally different when people say they want to invest versus when you find a deal and you're like, here we go, we got one. Then it's a totally different story. But that gave us the urge to kind of jump ship, sink or swim approach to it and say, we're going to figure it out. We know what we want to do. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, like, what was some of your challenges of syndication? One, when you find a deal, that's one of the challenges with syndication, right? You got a deal, but you don't have their money yet. And by the time you find the deal, they done took their money and bought something with it. Literally, they done bought a car, a house, or they just on to something else. You know, what are other challenges that you had with syndication, and what are you doing to overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I'll go one point. Capital raising is the number one, I think the toughest thing for us to get. It was in the beginning, and it still is. I mean, we're still trying to grow our investor network for sure. But the key to overcome that other than, you know, putting your brand out there, getting active on LinkedIn, I mean, it's exactly what you do. It's what you guys teach in the mastermind. But other than that, it's really flexing your network with partners too. Guys who may be doing this for 10 years already. They have a really solid investor network. We know our real strengths and values is sourcing, underwriting, and securing deals, you know, locking up deals. And we got to lean on other people's strengths and values to raise some of that capital.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, do you necessarily have to do this all on your own? Like, yeah, like some people come in and they have this vision that, man, I'm gonna do this. I got to raise money. I got to find the deal. I got to manage the deal. I got to do the accounting. I mean, is that even possible?
Yeah, well, I think to go off Mitch's point and your point was, you know, it's really about kind of finding what you're good at and then really sticking to it. I mean, just like you buy an asset, you leverage debt. It's the same thing with partnerships and, you know, acquiring assets. You have to find other partners to leverage.
Yes.
Have either capital raising skills, or for us, it would be underwriting, kind of finding the deal, having the broker relationship at first. But yeah, you have to leverage your entire network to really make it happen. So it's a bunch of different pieces working together. Really, it's never really just you, which I think was one of our biggest learning experiences coming into it. I mean, we tried to do it ourselves at first, just us. Like, we never considered like any masterminds or any other larger networks, but really kind of reading up on it and just going through like our first deal. We had one in Clearwater, beginning of 2022 that we ended up raising for, and ended up backing out for different reasons with the property. But after that deal, we really started to realize and, you know, come into the idea that partnerships and teams are really the biggest thing in real estate, and it kind of will help you get from A to B faster than just you. It'll take you 3 years versus 3 months.
There's a time like last year when we were in the BRRRR, like the smaller BRRRRs, we did like 2, 4, 6, 8 unit properties we BRRRRed, and we were calculating out like, how long is this going to take if we keep doing this the way that we're doing it, so we can we can get off 2 salaries and keep a sustainable business going through this BRRRR. And I mean, this is like 7-10 years. Like, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
So,
and when that time comes, like, who's to say you're actually going to leave your cushy job?
they get you 401ks.
No, like you vested in, man. It's best to get it out now because you don't know no better, right? Like, I don't know what I'm missing.
It's just young and dumb. We're just gonna
Exactly. No, it's great to share that you're saying that you should not take this on your own. I was just listening and kind of talking to related parties. So Don Peoples, one of the largest Black developers in the country. And they actually, I don't know if it's going through, but they end up getting more deals because of this. But they were doing the Affirmation Tower. It's going to be the largest skyscraper in New York, $3.6 billion. It's
wild.
Not only that, it was a couple of amazing things. One, it was nothing but Black folks doing the whole thing. That's one. But again, this is the largest developer around, and he was not doing everything. He brought in a construction company, one of the largest. He brought in a finance group to raise the capital. Another one brought in management companies. He brought in hotel groups. He brought in office brokers. So the whole point is, again, it doesn't change. I don't care if it's a single family to a large skyscraper, everything's the same. And he did it with no money down. Well, I mean, he's got to spend some money. Okay, I might be pushing a little bit, but in essence, though, seriously, he may put money up front, right? But he'll get it back by raising the capital. And so that's my essential, like, it's, if you find a deal, next thing you know, you got to put it all together. It's all like, I'm trying to dumb it down. Like, I used to be a big concert promoter and party promoter, and I didn't do everything. I wasn't the entertainer. I didn't work security. I didn't collect money. So it's all about having the strength of your team. What are some hardships you endured as well as some of your accomplishments? Now, you were talking about you did some burrs and then people start investing. It's kind of hard to systematically raise capital and do that. But what's been the toughest so far, leaving the job and going after this?
Yeah, I mean, I think for one, I mean, any sort of real estate business that you're kind of starting or any sort of investing firm, it's like any other startup. I mean, you have a ton of leeway kind of when you're just building your product and your brand, which, in this situation is kind of us and Underwriting and the 1027 group itself. But behind the scenes is just hours and hours of underwriting deals, submitting tons of LOIs, which you often don't even hear back from the brokers on. And then after,
how do you even keep up with all the LOIs you send in, right?
We have a little Excel sheet we got going on,
right?
Which ones we sent in, which ones we have to keep up on and keep checking in on. But yeah, then you'll have one LOI accepted. You'll spend a week kind of checking everything out and getting it ready for the PSA, and then sometimes, like a Fed will hike the rate up and you'll try to retrade a little bit. You have to just walk away from the deal you spent hours and hours on. But yeah, I mean, there's hardships, as long as you're operating a business, you're going to have tons of hardships, but it's just about the accomplishments that come with it, which typically outweigh the hardships, which is why people go into it and try and do it. But our recent accomplishment obviously was our 88 unit in Dayton that we closed on.
Oh, congratulations, man. Give a round of applause, man. Hit them air horns, man. I mean, and what was so sweet about that, like you guys, you end up grabbing somebody that put up the rest of the capital or raised the other capital. How did that work?
Yeah, well, it's like, I think I mentioned, like, kind of flexing your network earlier. One of the best decisions we ever made was going to the best ever conference at the beginning of the year in Denver. Tons of just real estate syndicators and operators, developers there, which at the time we were dishing out that money. We were like, damn, this better be.
Hey, that was what, 1,500.
Yeah,
that was me when ladies and gentlemen, I just want to encourage you again. I used to be so against going to conferences and spending $1,000, $1,500, $1,800 for a conference or a 3-day workshop, right? Just so against it because I was like, I know all this. What are you going to teach me? But they give you that one detail or that one thing. And you came away meeting a syndicator investor.
One relationship, right?
Yes, that one relationship could change everything.
Yeah, so we found that deal maybe a month later and shot it over to him, and he was like, "I like the deal. Let's do it." And he said, "Raise as much capital as you can raise, and I'll raise the rest." Essentially, what he said.
Man, I need see.
So we got. I mean, he made it. He really did make it happen for us on that one.
That's awesome. 88, and now what's kind of the next deal you're looking at now?
Yeah, so we actually have.
Well, you got on the contract or anything?
No, we got nothing under contract.
All right, we ain't gonna talk about it. We'll keep that to ourselves. So, I mean, the market is competitive now, and you guys kind of just really starting to kick off. What are you doing to overcome that? How are you navigating through all these things?
Yeah, I mean, this is like probably, you'd speak better to this, probably the most competitive market
It's crazy
ever seen. And not only that, but there's challenges like the rates rising, and sellers are still expecting, like the prices they were getting 7 months ago or whatever. So there's challenges there. But I mean, really, like as young GPs, especially young partners, you got to know what values and what strengths you have. And ours is we think our sourcing deals and underwriting. I mean, we'll spend hours on CoStar. We'll keep in touch with all the brokers, especially around Cincinnati and Southwest Ohio, surrounding Midwest markets. But constantly staying in their back pocket and perfecting our underwriting to the point where, I mean, you know exactly what price you can pay for a certain asset. And not only that, but stay within your market, like your market of expertise, which us is mainly Southwest Ohio, and Kevin's down in Dallas now. So he's really kind of understanding the DFW Houston markets too. So we're pursuing that, but we would underwrite deals all over the country just to get reps, but we know we're not going after them. It's just so, and then, I mean, I'd say to kind of
Would you put that in the category of fake it till you make it?
Yes, that was my next point. To stand out, like, you know, especially before we got this deal we closed on a month ago or whatever, we didn't have much of a track record other than some burrs. And so you kind of gotta fake it till you make it to get your foot in the door with brokers and sellers, or else most people are not gonna take you seriously. So, I mean, but like your program, you can leverage your program, you can leverage other potential partners who say they might do deals with you. So flex your network, fake it till you make it, and keep bothering people.
Yeah, no, well, that, you know, I'm sharing this more, and it was so simple. I was at a conference, I just spent $1,000 on, right, for a hotel conference. I did meet some connections, but it was more, a lot of times for me, I'm not saying that I go to a conference and I don't make any connections, but a lot of time going to the conferences for me is more confirmation that I'm going in the right direction. I'm doing the right thing. And when I went this time, it was a whole panel, and all these guys, you know, own 2 to 4 billion worth of real estate. And I'm like, what the heezy? And all they're saying is, they sitting up here, and they ain't all fly or nothing. They just sitting in their suit and just chilling, like, you know, the difference between me and you, in summary, I'm gonna break it down in layman's terms. Y'all friends were broke. I grew up in the financial industry. That's it. I worked at Goldman Sachs. I worked for whatever those other companies. I was in the institutional funding. And understand this, just like you get up every morning to go to your job, to your corporate job, or whatever it is that you do, these guys get up every morning and their job is to go lend money. They got to get this money out. Matter of fact, there's tons of groups out there that got $50 million that they want to fund your deal, but they want to make sure you look right, right? And I don't want to even get into the color skin. They want to make sure your paper look right. Is your accounting right? Is your track record right? Is your schedule of real estate right? Right? Is your success record right? And can you back that up? And they'll fund you. That's it. That's their job. And so when you start looking at it like that, instead of, hey, these guys they're bigger than me, or there's something greater than me. No, it's their job. It's their job to fund you. It's somebody wants to fund you and you, the brothers, right now. It's people, even you, Julian and Z and Eric, all you guys, Danica on here, Kevin, they all want to fund you guys. But we got to get our paper and documents in order to be successful for them to fund us. Now, you guys even went so deep. This is dynamic. You're a tag team. Well, one of you left to go, as you said, you went to Dallas.
Yep.
Like, were you already wanting to go to Dallas, or you were like, man, I'm out of here. You take care of Cincinnati, or what, you know, how did that diagram work?
No, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, since I was in Cincinnati for around a year, and I've really enjoyed my time here and everything, and we spent a lot of time boots on the ground together, tore a bunch of properties. I think eventually we got to the point where we were just talking. You obviously see the South markets are just blowing up, and
that's right.
You know, we love the Midwest because of the real like cash flow you can get from it, and they're always really solid deals for the most part for underwriting correctly. But you know, you see Dallas and everyone moving there, the appreciation it's going to be getting, and Houston, all the South, Florida, Arizona. But we figured if we're both here, our reach and our, like, you know, we can't stretch as far. But if like one of us, you know, just moving to Dallas, and you can just be in the middle of that entire market. So Houston now is a 3-hour drive for me. I'm in Dallas. I can drive over to Austin if anything were to happen in Austin. Oklahoma's right there. So now I'm kind of getting down and kind of really trying to understand the South market a little bit better, and, you know, all of those hotter regions. But but the Midwest is still our, bread and butter, and it's the area we love and we're focusing on. But just kind of looking into the future, where you think the world's going to be in, or the United States, I guess, is going to be in 10 years. And it's looking like a lot of it's going to be down south.
Yeah,
So-
it kind of came down to like a divide and conquer. That,
Yeah.
we were doing everything together here in Cincinnati, and it came to a point where it's like, well, two bodies. Let's take
Yeah.
advantage of two brains, two bodies here, and send one of us go down south.
No, I love it, man. The last I know two other people that they just went all in and said, I'm out. And I had a buddy, although it wasn't related to real estate, but my guy plays music, piano and everything. And he said, man, I'm leaving Cincinnati. So why, man? You got a good thing here, man. Like everybody hires you every week to play the piano, like all through the night. Like it's really a full-time gig for you almost now. Nah, I'm just gonna pack it up, go to Atlanta. And he packs it up and go to Atlanta. Next thing you know, he's playing everywhere. And now he's playing in concerts. And matter of fact, Bootsy picked him up, and then some other people picked him up. So now he's on tour. Then he says, I'm going to LA. And he goes to LA, and then he gets married. He's got the white picket fence and the whole nine. Now he's been on it. I think he played at the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, he's been playing everywhere now. So the point is, like, man, I love that you guys just went out there and said, forget it, I'm all in. And that's what it takes. And it takes the audacity. I mean, how dare you to dream big? But you got to have the audacity to go there. That's why I love these BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. So last one, man, what is the future plans for 1027? Where do you hope to be from a year from now? Where are you going?
Yeah, I'd say we got goals for sure. I'd say goals can be good. Goals can be distracting too.
Yeah.
We got a big project under our belt, and we're really focused on stewarding that one well, make sure that one
Absolutely.
outperforms.
Absolutely.
But like Kevin said, we got like 5 LOIs out there tackling our next one. So we want to double our portfolio by the end of this year, and then 2x it again by the end of next year.
That's a simple one.
We got a development we're working on, which is that one's we're learning it. We're taking it slow, but once we get that one going, we're gonna phase in development more, and ultimately 1027 group's gonna build a real estate portfolio big enough to anchor it down and get into being full-blown PE shop. That's the real goal.
Oh, dang.
We're getting into businesses.
Our business. No, that's it, man. No, hey, well, look, man, I love it, man, because love to see you and we leverage each other to this path to $1 billion. I've found the pathway and watching you guys grow. Hopefully, I know you guys will be in that route. And we need to get a new damn office, man. I don't know what the hell. That's all that pizza and beer you be drinking and don't clean up in the damn studio.
It's those wings.
Hey, man, I
Those
don't
wings.
understand how come I got all this money and we got flies all in this damn place, man. Sick. Hey, man, everybody give it up for our guys right here, but they're going to stay with us. Give them a round of applause. We're going to sit here and take some questions. So look, Walt, Wynn, what questions we got? And we're going to answer these for all these wonderful people out here. Okay, that's that. So, okay. Talk, Tony, 69 trillion in private equity in the market, but only 1.3% lenders. Hey, man, this guy, let me read what this guy just said. And this is exactly right. Talk to Tony on Instagram. 69 trillion private equity in the market, but only 1.3% of the lenders are Black. I don't think that reflects the amount of Black qualified developers. That's absolutely right. Look, a lot of the money is not controlled by us. Matter of fact, a lot of the money our families contribute to. They're the post office workers, the teachers, and everything. And no, most of the Black folks or people of color do not manage it. But I'm not saying that's okay. I don't even want to say that's okay. But the point is, now you know, educate yourself. And look, I'm going to take it further. I don't care what color you are. You got to educate yourself and get in the room. That's the difference. You know, my whole real estate career changed because I was in the room. I wasn't doing too well. I wasn't, look, some of you think I'm brilliant and smart and like, no, I got a lot of wisdom. A lot of wisdom. And my wisdom came from tons of mistakes. I was like, bam, oh, I got hit in the face. Don't want to do that again. And this is why. And that's why people are always like, why do you do that? Because I already been through that. My point is, matter of fact, Kevin McGraw and Kevin Mullen, these are guys that help reach down. Like this picture right behind me, man. That's what them brothers did. We helped each other, helped me to help you. They saw that I was working hard and they had some opportunity. It was more than they can handle. And they gave me one deal and I knocked it out of the park, and they just kept throwing me deals. Just like this guy funded you, you knock it out of the park, he's going to fund you even more. Why wouldn't he? Right. And then at some point you guys may grow and go separate ways, but for the most part, that's how it works. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Oh, you got a question here? Okay.
Next question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait.
All right. Yeah. All
Can you
right.
hear me? Okay. Yeah, it's from Juliana Madrid. And she said, I just started wholesaling. Thank you so much. Very important. Can I skip the single family home and flipping and go straight to buying multifamily using the BRRRR method?
I'm gonna let the brothers answer that one, man. What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, I think, it's the BRRRR method was great for us. We didn't even flip a single family, or we didn't do anything with single family. We went straight into a duplex and, then quad and a 6+. I think really just comes down to the numbers, like what you can buy it for. You can buy it cheap enough, put, just enough money into it to be able to refinance and get that cash back. But yeah, I mean, not easily doable. It definitely took us a long time to find the right deals, but
Yeah, it's, if you ask many people who did the single family game for a while, trying to scale up, they advise against doing that. I mean, if your goal is to truly scale up, I mean, go for the bigger projects. I mean, like we're harping on capital raising and using other people's money. I mean, that go bigger, go for the one, use 10 people's money to get a 50 unit rather than just your own to get a 2 or a single family. You could definitely skip over it for sure. If that's the question, skip over single family.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people are just not comfortable. And I know for me, well, quite frankly, I had no idea I was going to be here. I always read about no money down. And I just saw that as a pathway to controlling some costs. Like I was living free. It paid my car note, and it gave me spending money, and it gave me gas money. So I was like, I'm good. And then I was like, man, it's so easy. I ain't gonna say it was so easy, but I was like, hell, I know what I'm doing. I just might as well do it again when the opportunity comes. But for me, I always wanted to do multifamilies. I always wanted to, well, because I was trying to live free. So, doing a BRRRR method is great, but I would do bigger. If you would do that, I would just do bigger, like bigger houses, but you got to do what's comfortable for you. All right, next, what we got?
How much experience does someone need to be or to have, I guess, to be ready for the apartment mastermind? And I can answer that, Mike. So as long as you have a real estate experience, I don't care if it's a single family home or a house hack, you can qualify. So again, go to nasainvest.com /waitlist, nasainvest.com /waitlist to apply for the mastermind. So can you type it in?
All right. Anything else?
Next one.
And we got anything in Facebook or anything there?
Where does cap rate need to be in relation to interest rate?
That's a good question. I've been asking that. Some said if it goes up a basis, 100 basis or 150 basis, and the cap rates adjust. I can't remember. I don't. What you got?
It's in the graph.
Oh, let's go back to the graph.
Yeah, go back.
Pull the graph. See, let me shut up.
Well,
how dare I try to explain this?
Yeah, I mean, let's just go.
I told you I wasn't brilliant. I'm just wise.
That's true.
Well, thanks. Thanks for All right, go ahead.
So
Break this
here,
down.
based on history, right? So if you average this out, there's like, the lowest is like 100 basis points, and then the highest is like above 3%. So I would say between 2.5% to 3% would be a good average. So that means if the 10-year treasury note is at 3%, so you're talking about 6% cap rate, roughly.
So basically a 3% difference of whatever the U.S. Treasury is.
Right. 10-year treasury. Yep.
10-year Treasury, and then typically they're up 2 points when they lend. They usually how many points above Treasury?
Yeah, between at least 100 basis points, at least 1% to up to 3% actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 3% more than the Treasury. Okay, there's your answer.
All right. Cool. Oh, and we forgot to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. The slides now.
You said that so like I don't even know this is the word, rookie-ish. That's so rookie-ish.
Okay, here's another question from Eric Cavalauskas.
Just Eric K, man. Just stick to Eric K.
Okay, Eric K. This is good for the brothers to answer. How did you handle the rehabs on early projects? Did you do it yourself? Did you partner up?
Did not do it ourselves. No, we were working full-time jobs that were like, I don't know, 10 hours a day.
Yeah, and I was in Chicago, so
And he was in Chicago. So no, we didn't do it ourselves.
10 hours?
We were working
Yeah.
a lot of hours.
I can't say I was doing the same thing. I just not with one job.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
3 jobs.
That's you're in a
yeah,
better
one job
situation.
versus 3 different jobs. Yeah, it's
The hourly
More
wage
interesting.
kind of sucked at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, we just had to kind of really dig deep in the Cincinnati market, at least for contractors. And really we were looking for a good GC, someone who could manage other contractors who already had connections to a plumber, to a flooring guy, to a guy who's going to hang drywall. And we ended up finding that just through, again, like flexing the network, finding your right connections, and then people introduce you to other people. And we got a guy here in Cincinnati who will handle basically all of our Cincinnati projects as a GC. So
Yeah. All right, EK, did that help, man? And when don't call Eric Eric K no more. It's EK, baby. EK, baby, in the building. Hey, Z.
All right.
What's Z
ZM,
what do you got?
could you give an example of how you would use the cash on cash return to pay your equity partners?
How I think I get it, but let's see. Could you give an example of how you use the cash on cash return to pay your equity partners? Well, it's simple. It's don't convolute it. It's based on prorations. But I'm gonna give you the long way so it's clear. So whenever you structure a deal, there's many ways of breaking that deal down. All right. If you go one route, some do a 70-30, 50-50, 60-40, right? And it can go either way. Majority of the times, the heavier side goes to the LP, the limited partner, your equity partner, okay? And so let's say this one's a 70-30. I'm gonna give you the basis of. So for every 100,000 that comes, and after there's a profit of 100,000, 70,000 would go to the LP, 30,000 would go to the GP, the general partners. Now, as you get deeper into it, they start adding different thresholds. So for example, typically there's an asset management fee, which goes to the GP. Now, just because there's an asset management fee doesn't necessarily mean that 1 or 2% growth of the overall income actually comes back to the GP. Now, when they first starting off, it probably will. But what happens, so I'm about to give you something away. What you really want to use that money for is to hire some human capital. That extra on your small deal, it may only generate $24,000 a year, but that $24,000 pays for your part-time CPA or your asset manager. That's really what you want, that 1 to 2%. And then also, in there, there's other fees. Now, these are all standard fees, and this is nothing new, but when you acquire something, there's an acquisition fee. You can charge anywhere from 1% to 2%. I think once you get over 2%, it's a little high, but hey, if the deal can handle that type of funding or that kind of fee, and it still creates the same returns, then by all means take it. But that acquisition fee, that typically goes to the developer's pocket. But if you're trying to build the infrastructure like where I'm going, you're going to want to take that fee, put a little bit in your pocket, and use that to get you an analyst, right? Because some of you over there, I know you'll love to have an analyst, wouldn't you? Instead of doing all those deals and then they bring it to you, all right? Yeah, you're going to pay your analyst anywhere from $80,000 to $120,000. And all they're going to do is analyze deals all day, left and right. And then they're going to come to you and tell you why it hits the number. That's it. Now, you're still going to have to train them to look at it how you want to look at it. They're novice. They just know how to put all these spreadsheets and put these numbers. So sorry, Z, I gave you the long-winded way of all of that. But after that, that's how everything breaks out. And then there's also waterfalls. So even though that the LP, all right, I heard you, the equity partner gets 70% and then the GP gets 30%. If the equity partner over a period of times or any period of time hits a hurdle rate of 10% or 12% or 15%, the GP can move from 30 to 40 to 50%. And then it could be even. So, Z, I hope that answered your question, everybody.
All right. Next question from Brock Rallison from Facebook.
Oh, Brock, that is a cool ass name, man.
What has been the best
I'm
route,
Brock. I'm Brock.
in your opinion, is the best route for finding capital?
What has been the best route, in your opinion, in the best route for finding
capital?
I don't, brothers, what did y'all, everybody is a little different. For the brothers, what was your best route in finding capital?
Yeah, I mean, ours just stems right back to the partnerships. So we have a limited amount of capital we can tap into within our network. So we knew for the deal that we just got done that we would definitely need a partner for that. So, the whole flexing your network thing comes back to it. It's all just
would you say conference, or well, you had friends and family too, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't have got us there. We it wouldn't have got us the deal we just got. I mean, he raised a large portion of that, the majority of it. But yeah, I mean, I'd say conferences, networking events. There's a lot of people who can easily raise money who don't have deals to raise it for.
Yeah.
So it's really just going to conferences, meeting people. You have deals, sharing your deals with them, and sometimes they might just like it enough to join in and raise the money for it.
Active on social media, and also one thing we've been
social media,
we've gotten people joining our investor list from a good amount from social media actually.
Nice.
Also like equity brokers too. I mean, think about that. If it fits your deal, talk to equity brokers. We haven't used one yet, but we're sharing new deals.
Same here.
Yeah.
That again, that goes back to there's plenty of people out there. Matter of fact, let's highlight that for a second. Equity broker, someone like, what is that actually? Well, literally, they broker equity. It's just like you have a broker that finds real estate deals or business deals. There are brokers that actually find people with money. CBRE, what's the LL one? I don't know, whatever that is. Joan Lang LaSalle, Paramount. Like, there's numerous equity brokers that their gig is to find people with money that's or may have too much money. Like, for example, they got a fund of 300, 400, 500 million, and they plan to do all their deals, but they can't spend it all and they got to get a certain return. Well, they'll dump it. They'll find guys like us and put money with us. All right.
And if you think about it, they charge a fat fee up front. But
yes,
if you cover it, you can. But the other route you go is join a partner who gets equity in your deal. You don't give an equity broker equity in your deal.
That's right.
So,
all right, we'll take one more question and we're going to wrap up. Or we got two questions, one or two, or are we doing anything? Yeah, no.
So far, yeah, I think that's
it.
That's it. So, I guess we can just like for the brothers, like how can people reach you if they want to invest in your deals?
Yeah.
Kevin and Mitch.
I'd say, well, we're active on LinkedIn. It's about the only social media that we're active on business-wise or personally. So LinkedIn, and then, I mean, you can easily find a link to our site, and you can sign up for our investor club and or our newsletter, and we'll send out weekly, bi-weekly newsletters about the market, about, you know, how to really get involved in real estate. And then if you're in an investor club, you get access to every deal that we are raising money for.
So they go to 1027 or what?
1027group.com, right?
Yep, that's right. 1027group.com.
Yeah. So 1027. You said group.com?
Yeah.
Group.com. All right, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, everybody give them a round of applause for the brothers, man. They balling out of control. They going all in. I'm going in. I'm going in. Yeah. I guess that wasn't appropriate for this podcast. I don't know. Little Wayne was not appropriate. I don't know, man.
No, we appreciate you having us on.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks so much for coming, man. I appreciate it, man. All right, man. All right, man. Now it's time for what we got. What are we doing next, man?
Now it's time for Mike's millionaire mindset.
Is that like a radio thing or something? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Millionaire mindset. Hey, man, I'm gonna keep it simple today, man. It's out there for you. You just gotta go out and take it. You know, we were talking about hey, what's the best route of getting funding or finding capital. Well, just like finding capital, you got to know what you want. And as soon as you know what you want and you can articulate it, you can attack it. So you got to envision it. You got to see it. You got to believe it and move forward to it. You got to put that work in. Because it wasn't until I became aggressive and made up in my mind, that is what I want. And immediately, as soon as I said that, I had more and more people with money come out to me and giving me and showing me the path. I had more and more projects come to me, more than I can even handle. Because I was aggressive and I said what it is I want. But you got to be bold. The biggest thing is being bold, man, knowing your vision, knowing your dream, and being bold, right? Look, so what you listen, I'm gonna tell you over and over and over again, you're gonna be wrong, man. You're not always gonna win. You're not always gonna do it correct. But what you will do is learn. Now, hopefully you don't have to take 25 years of like myself to get to where I am. And there's no reason for you to, quite frankly. You know, don't be hard-headed. Go get you a teacher. Go join a class. Go join some groups, man. There's so many groups on Facebook, man. I can't even name them all. I can name mine. So Apartment Invested Secrets, Facebook group, and Burr Invest. All right, you can go to those and you can learn all these different things. But even myself are joining larger groups so I can educate. I'm going to another group in New York called NIRAC. I'm joining this development group because I want to be around all the different players. My point is, if you want to change your situation, you got to change your situation. And that's by moving and being around other people. Man, I'm gonna just take it small. My man Will, he's our camera guy, man. We met at Nostalgia one night, man, because he had to look, man. He had that camera. He was all in, bro. Like I was like, this guy is real. I was like, I don't know if he know what he's doing, but he got the work to do it. And I was like, let's go. And then he saw what I was doing, and guess what? Immediately took advantage. His brother's like, hey, yo, I see this Airbnb. I can get down. You got these properties. I see you. They didn't lease it in time. Give me 4 of those right now. And immediately went to work to seize the opportunity. Now, will he succeed? I'm sure he will. Will one of them not rent on a timely? They probably won't. But the point is, he seized the opportunity, and he would have never been able to do it if he didn't know what he want, or at least asked or was bold about it. Because he didn't hold back. He was like, man, I'm just in. I'll figure it out. Like, look, it was even crazier. I always say, and Win and everybody else, like I study and I read a little bit, but for the most part, I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out along the way. That was just my whole life. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'm in, forget it. Well, what about this? But I don't know. I'll figure it out along the way. When I first started, I didn't know how to paint. When I first started, I had nothing about accounting. When I first started, I didn't know what a cap rate was. When I first started, I didn't know none of that stuff, man. I learned along the way. That's what my point is, man. You just got to go after it. And I think I shared this before, but like, man, whatever it is that you desire in life, it's going to be a fight. I wish I could say somebody's going to give it to you, man, but it's going to be a fight. And if you run away from that fight, it will forever hunt you. That fight will come after you. It will chase you. It will bully you until you fight back. And until you fight back, that's the only time you're gonna win. Like I said, I shared a little while ago, man. I was watching the Warriors and what was the Boston Celtics. And I think only one game was a blowout, maybe only one. But every single game, they were fighting, they were balling to the last minute. To the last minute. It went, what, 6 games or 7 games? 6 games? Fighting every game to get the trophy. Man, you're going to have to put that work in and fight through it, man. You're going to have some great, amazing days. Man, look, I'll tell you now, I hate property management. I hate it. But I love real estate. It's just a part of the game that you need to use to get out, to get in there. And so guess what? If you do the right deal, you don't even have to manage it. You can get you a third party. I don't like paperwork. Well, you do the right deal, you can get some certain fees that pay for that assistant or that manager. But you got to think big, and you have to go after the fight. Hey, that's my time. God bless you. God keep you. May God bless you beyond your belief, but not your capacity. And remember, you're one big deal away. See you next week. Hey, Win, give us we giving anything away this week?
Yep. So we're giving away the book to Jessica Tejada.
Hey, Jessica, you're our winner today.
Just type in your, Walt will send you his email address. So that he
all right, give him some music, get out of here, man. And I gotta
send you
I gotta get to another.
You can send him the address, your address, mailing address.
All right, and pull it up so we can say goodbye to all our guests, man. So we got Annabelle, okay, Corey, Livingston, my man Don and Drew, EK, Jessica, winner, Jose, Edwards, and we got Christopher. We got Best and Best Junior. All right. Mika, Demetrius, and Z. Hey man, guys, thank you so much for joining. Valerie, Ariel, Brock, and all other people on Instagram, Facebook, all over, man. Thanks so much. Hey, let's go get it, man. You deserve it. You deserve it all. You deserve it all. Peace out. Peace.
So you know I gotta get it. 10 toes down when I walk in the building. They treat me like a prince, maybe because I'm the king, maybe because I'm the shit. But I'm humble, Kendrick. Straight out of the jungle, I'm fearless. Yeah, but you win some, you lose some. But that struggle make you true, son. Whoa. Anything is possible. If you don't know it, got to go. I'm about to blow. I'm about to start the show. You try to knock me down. You try to take my crown. But look at me now. Yeah, 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 you try to knock me down, but I got up somehow. Yeah, look at me now. Hey, look at me now. Look at me now. Hey, look at me now. Hey. a minute, I won't back down, oh no. Wait a minute, I stand my ground, oh. Wait a minute, I'm stronger now, oh whoa. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. You try to knock me down, you try to take my crown, but look at me